Hi, team. This is George. Been great getting to know everybody in the discussions for week one. Now we are off and running into week two. This week we have two discussions, which I hope you find valuable. And one of the first discussion, core issues in organizations, and then legal considerations in hiring. So I'll be jumping in both of those. I want to specifically talk about organizational help. Lencioni discusses this pretty deeply, and I think it's very important. How do we gauge organizational health? How do we create trust within an organization? How do we create an organizational culture that we need? Some organizational cultures are more proactive, more risk-taking. Some are more conservative. So how do we create this, and how do we nurture it and help it to grow, thrive, and continue? So vulnerability is a key. So I want to bring up two other things. If you're going to have a healthy organization, or if you're going to be a leader who creates a healthy organization, you're going to use ETV: empathy, trust, vulnerability. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm not sure, you've probably seen the Brene Brown video where she talks about vulnerability. I'll post that again later. But ETV, empathy, is, as a leader, the first thing you have to do is have empathy. And empathy doesn't mean sympathy, of course. I think we're all pretty knowledgeable about that. But empathy is more like, okay, I know where you're at and I'm here to help. So it's that person that's just coming to be there with you. You're not going to go through it alone. I love one of my favorite soccer teams is Liverpool FC, and their whole theme is "You will never walk alone." That makes me think of empathy. No matter what you're going through, you will not walk alone. I will walk there alongside you. That's the first step of a leader. Now, to have that empathy, you need to actually listen to and look at what's beneath the surface and find out what's going on, and then meet your employees there wherever they are. And then trust. It's not about building trust between the employees and you as a leader. It's about you trusting yourself that you can actually be the next step, which is V, which is vulnerable, making sure that you can be vulnerable. And why is it important for you to be vulnerable? Well, because your position as a leader carries weight. And if your position carries enough weight, they can be seen as, you never want to be seen as the perfect leader or anything like that, because that does not create a bond, a tight team, a close-knit team. When you're vulnerable, you're showing that, hey, I've made mistakes before and I'm open to you. So you trust yourself to be vulnerable. And then guess what? Your team is going to see that, and they are going to perform better for you as the bottom line, or better for the organization, better for themselves as well. So that empathy, trust, and vulnerability is key, because when you show yourself as being vulnerable, hey, I need your help. It doesn't mean that you have to show any weakness or anything like that some people think about. It just, hey, I'm vulnerable. I can't do this alone. I need you to walk along with me to do this, whatever it may be, a project or something else. So just think about it in terms of that. How can we do this together when you think about vulnerability? So we have these two discussions and a quiz this week, and I'm going to start talking about walking us through our project as well. Do that later on during this week. So look forward to seeing everyone in the discussions, and have a great week.